Hey guys, Lou here from Jersey Shore Fabricators. Well, here it is. It's November. It's about 40 degrees. I don't use the electric heat in my shop because it's about $1,200 a month. Absolutely ridiculous. So what are we going to do? Well, I brought you some good car videos, some not so good car videos. But let's actually get to fabricating something. So, we've got a drum. We got a bunch of parts on the floor there. I've got a bunch of plate steel, and I've got a plan. That's right, we're building a heater. Finally. Now, I had an oil drip heater. It worked well, but it was just a radiant heater. You know, there was no airflow of it. My shop is 30 by 60, so without any kind of airflow, the heat just kind of sat in one spot, which wasn't bad if you were within 5 feet of it. Of course, the further you got away, the colder it got. So, here's the plan. Now, everybody's seen the barrel heater kit. You go over to Tractor Supply, you buy the kit, it comes with the door, it comes with the legs, it comes with a flue. Put some black pipe exhaust on it, you're good to go. Well, that's not really going to cut it here. I got a couple of ideas, design plans. I've been researching this for, all summer, and all summer I said, I'm going to build a heater, and I never got around to doing it because I've been busy. So, I'm going to shut down the shop for a couple of days, and, well, we're going to get this done. So here's what's going on. We're going to take that, and we're going to slice it in half. We're going to put plate in between. It's going to become an oval. Inside of that oval, there's going to be a floor. There's going to be an ash cleanout. There's going to be holders, I guess, for the wood to make sure the wood doesn't get out to the sides where I don't want it. It's going to have secondary combustion. It's going to have a baffle before it goes through the flue. And I don't know if it looks like something will make a theme out of it. I'm going to put a couple of warming plates on it because, you know, sometimes during the winter we got to warm up paint or body filler or coffee or, you know, sacrifice a chicken on it or something. But it should turn out pretty cool. So the idea is simple. We're going to use some of this black pipe that's here. We're going to make 4 legs. And they're going to go into floor mounts. And those floor mounts are going to be adjustable so that I can level it because my floor in here is very unlevel. It's also going to be on casters. It's going to be on rollers. Mostly because once I get done building it, I'm not going to be able to move it. So we're going to put those in place. And then after that, we're going to run a chimney outside and, you know, get all the exhaust out of here. So let's get to it. This is either going to turn out really, really cool, or it's going to be a complete waste of some really, really good metal. Well, as it's been said before, there's no turning back now. So basically, we took a 36-inch long 55-gallon drum, cut it down to 26 inches because of my space requirements, and also cut it in half. So I don't know if you're able to see what I'm thinking yet, but once we start getting plate cut, I'll show you exactly what's going to be going on here. One of these is going to become the top, one of these is going to become the bottom, or that'll be the top, that'll be the bottom. It doesn't make a difference. There's going to be plate that's going to turn this into an oval, so it's going to kind of come up like this. That looks silly. And one end will be cut off solid, you know, be welded solid. The other end's going to have the door on it. And the top, whichever that ends up to be, will have the flue. Now what's going to happen is on the bottom of one of these, there's going to be a rack. That's where the wood is actually going to go. And then at the very front, up there, there'll be a slit cut in it with a little trap door, and that'll be my ash cleanout. So it's a rather simple plan. The top half, however, not so simple, because we're going to have our secondary air combustion in there. And then we're also going to have our flue. And then there also is going to be a baffle for the flue. Well, you'll see as we go along. So, just an update. Got the 4 legs on it. You can see they're made out of black pipe. Right there, over there. Now, what I got going on, I was having a hard time trying to figure this out until my father came over. Now, he's not a fabricator, but he's a smart guy. So I was trying to put a flat plate here that I was going to put a regular bushing into and then screw the pipe into. But I was having a hard time getting it level this way and then of course up and down. So he says, why don't you just go get us some 45s, weld that to the plate, weld the plate to the tank. Well, sometimes you got to listen to your old man. So that worked out beautifully. So now what the plan is that I know that it's a little flimsy because the ends aren't on it, but these kind of move around a bit. I have a ratchet strap on there because I already have a measurement. So we're going to take some rod from a leftover fence I have outside, and we're going to do an X here, and then up this way, and then same thing here. Now, should have put a little more forethought into it. My original plan was to be able to turn the whole pipe. That's not going to happen. So, but I have these floor flanges down here that have plenty of adjustment on them, and that'll be my adjustment up and down and back and forth for getting it level. So, still have my adjustability, but you know, I want this thing to be as solid as it can. You know, we've got a metal box filled with fire. The last thing I want is for this thing to kind of fall apart on itself like a baby giraffe. So the other thing that this does is allow me to use my new Ironton 14-inch dry cut chop saw. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This has been sitting in a box in my living room since March or April. Here it is November. So I'm using it to cut that solid 1/4-inch rod that's behind it. Might even be 3/8. I think it's 1/4. It's nice because it's not an abrasive saw, so it doesn't throw any sparks. It just makes chips. And here, with everything trying to kill me, the less sparks, the better. So I already made a trial cut with it. It worked very well. So I'm going to get this set up and let you guys see how this cuts. If you've never seen a dry cut saw before, it's really kind of neat. Especially the fact that the blade lasts 9 times longer than a abrasive disc does. So let me get you set up. I'll let you check this out. One of the neat things I like about this is this speed vise, the speed clamp that's here. So you flip that up, pull that out, push it back in, flip that down, and you can tighten that down. And you don't have to run the whole thing in and out. So as you saw, no sparks, nothing major going on there. And now I've got my 45 on the other end. Let's get these tacked on. So here's a little insight into my mind of why I'm putting in those cross braces. This is 3/4-inch block pipe. Got a plate, it's welded to the tank here. Now if I try to move this, everything's solid. If I come over here, see how that's vibrating around? See how that's not? This is still oscillating. So, in my mind, the way I see it is that I'm going to put, I don't know, 300 pounds on top of these wheels. And without any kind of cross bracing in between, there's a good chance that they could just lay out from underneath themselves. Like I said, like a baby giraffe. So, it's a little extra time, a little extra welding, but I think in the end result, it's going to be a lot better. And I know I've had a couple of people ask me, well, the kit over there comes with its own legs. Why don't you just use those? Well, 2 reasons. One is that when I bought that kit, one of the legs is actually broke, and they're cast iron. I'm not going to try to weld that. So I was able to get a discount on it. Second reason, I don't want this thing on the ground. You know, the last thing I want to do is play around with a fireplace or a stove, pardon me, on the ground. So, at the height that I have it, Okay, let's try to do this. So at the height that I have it, the door is going to end up about here. Okay, which from standing up is the perfect height for me to be able to open it, throw wood in, get in there, clean it out. There's going to be an ash clean out in here. It just makes it that much easier. I don't want to be bending over just to service this or add wood to it. So I'm going to keep on going and make some more cross braces. And then after that, finally, get to building all the cool stuff on the inside. Alright gang, so before I get the front on this, just want to show you what's going on here. Here is the overall on how the heater looks. Okay? Now, at the top here, that's my baffle. So only the hottest smoke is going to go out and go up. It's going to keep flames from going directly up the chimney. This here is my secondary combustion. Now, like I said, rather than drilling a bunch of holes in it, I just cut a bunch of slots, both sides. Down here is where it's going to take in fresh air from outside. Gets warmed up as it passes by the fire. It goes here. Here is where the plate is that the fire is going to be on. On the floor is the grate that I made. The grate goes in through the door and then sits on here. The big hole in the back is for the fresh air intake for the fire. And that's about where I'm at. All in all, I'm happy with the way things are going. Wish I would go faster, but it is what it is. So now, I'm going to get the front on this. And here I got this speeded up 4 times normal speed. I already cut out one of the end plates, and I'm using that as the template to cut the other end plate. So I'm just running back and forth with the plasma cutter. And it's a good plasma cutter, it's a 50 amp. But like, you know, some other plasma cutters, or maybe it's my technique, but it didn't cut all the way through the first time, so the pieces didn't just drop off. Also, I have a problem with the, you saw it right there, where I have to shut the machine off because my post flow doesn't stop. So I'm just going to keep on going and cutting my little heart out here. And here I'm just going to speed this up. All I'm doing is just welding up these corners of the secondary burners. All the boring parts I'm just going to fast forward through and kind of save you guys. And here I'm doing a bunch of spot welds. When you're welding thick plate to sheet metal, you can start at the thick plate and sort of bead your way over to the sheet metal, but I also had some gaps in there. So again, I wasn't trying to make this pretty, just trying to make it functional. So I just, went ahead and did 1,000,001 spot welds on this. Everything worked out just fine. I mean, it's plenty strong. Nothing's going anywhere. That's just the way it's supposed to be. We call them gorilla welds. They're ugly, but they're strong. And that's the way I wanted it. So here we are. Everything is tacked together. Got a little stack on there just for now. Got some gaps to close up. It's not a big deal. But that's the overall design of it. Got my pipes there for the heat exchanger. Door is in. I still got to build an ashtray for it. An ash dump, but I already have the holes cut. Back here, the big pipe sticking out is the main air intake. That little square tube and that little square tube are going to be for the secondary combustion. I want to do my little, not little, but I got a couple of plates I want to bring off the side here as warming plates, coffee, paint, body filler, whatever. So now at this point, I am going to go ahead and crank up the welder and get all these seams closed up. If I got to bend some sheet metal to close that side up, I'm not worried about it. What I want to do is make this proof of concept that what I want to do is going to work. And then if I decide to make another one after this, my brother's interested in something, obviously I'll take my time, but this was kind of rushed to put it together because winter is here and I need heat now. So we'll see you after all the welding's done. Alright, gang. Well, if anybody stuck this out to the end, here it is installed. That wire there is from the electric heater I had up there. I got my stovepipe in place. Heater's in place. I did a test burn on it last night. I dragged it outside. That's why I put wheels on it. Put a pallet in there. Just a regular pallet. And I gotta tell you, I'm impressed so far. I did grab a couple of pieces out of the house of wood. I have a fireplace in the house. Not big pieces, but I got about 6 hours out of it. And at the top of the tank, I got to about 685. The sides were about 385, and inside the pipes got to be about 430. Ran for about 6 hours, so that's promising considering they were wet pallets and just garbage wood I'm burning. Essentially, that's what I got going on. It's just a bunch of garbage from inside the house. I don't have a blower motor on the back of it yet. Having trouble tracking one down, so for now I'm just going to use a regular household pedestal fan, see if that blows the air out this way out into the shop, see what happens. So let's get this fired up. This will be the first fire inside the shop here. Alright, so I got some paper, some cardboard, and one single piece of wood in there. Got a blowtorch, I got used oil, I got diesel. One way or another, we're making a fire. Well, here we go. And just my luck, the fire's going every place I don't want it to go. Well, finally, got the fire going. I am not a very good fire maker. So, currently it's 40 degrees outside. It's about 30 in the shop. Got a lot of frost coming out my mouth here. So, this is after about 10 minutes. I got the front of this at 90 degrees. Top's at about 180. The side was 95. And And the inside of the tube there is 140. And it's just a little fire. You know, there's nothing major going on in here. It's basically just garbage wood. I mean, it's a little tiny fire. So I'm going to let that get going really good. And then I'll start throwing some bigger wood on it. See if anything explodes. And, well, we'll put the fan in front of it and see how it does. But I did check that outside wall, and that's at 36 degrees. The floor is at 41. And up on the ceiling, it's about 40. So, yeah, so we're going to see how this little guy does here. Okay, another 5 minutes in or so. We got a pretty, I think, yeah, we're starting to get a fire going in there. Up there you can see those are the secondary combustion, secondary burners, and then my pipes. So, I guess let's let this cook a little longer. 20 minutes later. Okay, so, threw some wood in there. 380 at the front. Alright, so another 20 minutes in. We are cooking right along here. What do we got? 440 on the front. 630 in that tube. 630 up top. 420 in the chimney. 290 going out. All in all, I'd say this is a win. I just got to get that blower to go behind it. Start pushing all this hot air out. Right now I just have a pedestal fan trying to suck the hot air out. That's failing. And then we got a pretty decent fire going in there. Really happy with it. That is more than uncomfortably hot. Alright guys, so there you go. Took a lot longer to build than I wanted to, but, you know, some things just, they take as long as they take. What are you going to do? So, it's running. I got my little pedestal fan going there, trying to blow it out into the shop a little bit. Anything I would do over? Yeah, I'd probably make it nicer, but I made it ugly on purpose. It kind of fits the theme of the shop in here with all my uneven bricks and cinder block and whatnot. But that's a win. It's working really good. I'm standing about 3 feet off of it, and my back is getting really hot. Alright, so there you go. You know, I mean, I didn't break any new ground here. This is all stuff that's been done by other people. You can buy new ones that pretty much have all the same technology built into it. You know, it's free heat. I have unlimited access to pallets and trees and whatnot, so versus my oil burner that I had, this is a lot better. Well, if you decide to do something like this, be careful, have fun with it, take your time, and when you get done, you might have something that you just might be able to say, hey Ma, look what I did. So we see you next time. Peace.